Hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday. My name is Noreen Smith. I am the Product Development Creative Manager at Creative Memories. And each Wednesday at 5 p.m. Central Time, I get to be with you to do some fast and fun projects. And typically, I am with you live. But for this episode of Fast and Fun Projects, we are actually going to do a pre-recorded video for you, and it's going to air on the Wednesday, just like I was going to be with you. But I'm actually going to be taking some time off between Christmas and New Year's to be with my family out of town. So I am very excited, though, about what we put together for you, because you are in for a year-end treat. Our digital expert, Sarah Held, is going to walk you through how to create an entire year in review or best of paper album, 8x8 paper album, using the Creative Memories custom album designer. And you're going to be able to import, I think, about 70 photos, and it's going to auto-populate this album for you. And it's going to be the fastest and easiest and most fun you've ever had with a digital album. So I can't wait to see it myself. I can't wait to try it myself, and I can't wait to hear what you guys think about it. So I'm going to pass you over to Sarah, and I want you to make sure to join me next week when we start talking about a great new system for your memory keeping for 2024. All right? So enjoy, and I will see you next week. Take it away, Sarah.
Thanks so much, Noreen. I'm so happy to be here. My name is Sarah Held, as Noreen mentioned, and I'm going to be talking to you about our best of digital album today. So this is an 8x8 paper album that you're going to be able to input 70 of your favorite photos from the year. And we are going to look at 3 different ways to do this. First, we're going to look at auto-populating all of your photos from the year, and it will just make an album for you. And it'll be as simple as that. Then we're going to look at if you want to edit it and make it as creative as you'd like, because custom has all of those options of just changing it to be just as unique as your year was. And lastly, if you stick around, you'll get to see how you can actually add this if you don't want it to just be a paper album as a standalone, which are absolutely gorgeous. You can also add them into an 8x8 book cloth album. So we're going to look at that. So we have a really fun tutorial all the way through, and I'm so excited to be here with you. First, I want to show you just what this will look like once we get this going. This is the actual layout. So flipping through this, you can just see that this is a fun 8-page, beautiful paper album, and the photo boxes are already there. That's what's so different about what we typically do. Also, we do have a limited time offer right now that you'll be able to get this free sticker pack, 1 per order, but it is a great offer to be able to add this to maybe your best of album when you get it, or something else later on. So another fun part that I did want to mention before we get started into the tutorial. So let's get started. First, we'll be discussing adding your photos automatically. So let's take a look at how you'll do this. You'll go into your Creative Memories account, you'll get into the 8x8 custom paper albums through the digital section, acknowledge you're using your own images, and add the title to your project. Once you've typed that in, you'll click Continue, select the Best of theme, go ahead and click Select, and here is that whole layout again. You'll see the photo layouts are here, and in this first selection, we won't change any layouts. We'll simply go to Upload Photos, select the photos that we'll be choosing. Again, there's 70 photos here. We'll go ahead and place automatically and let these all upload. It'll tell you when it's uploading here and here. And once that's ready, we'll click Place Automatically. There's manually right here to the left and automatically to the right. We'll go ahead and click when that's ready. And now we can see our full best of album was already placed for us with the layouts there and our favorite images of the full year. So this is the simplest way to do this. And then you can go ahead and see how this looks and if there are any edits you would want to make. Another thing that we'd like for you to check is the preview button. You can see how this would look without any of the rules to make sure that this is set. This just makes sure that you know what it would look like once it goes to print. So we scroll through in preview, and we've scrolled through out of that. We go back into edit, and we're going to check the edges for printing. So we'll zoom in with the magnifying glass, and make sure that our images are the way that we want them, all the way to the edges here. And everything here can be edited. You can see that we can select it, but we'll get into that in our next section here. So we would click Add to Cart, and we would say that we're ready to go ahead with this, and we could print one or we could print many if we wanted to give this to ourselves or all of our friends and loved ones to show them our best parts of 2023. Now that we know the basics of how to make the 8x8 Best Of album, let's look at how we can step it up. We're going to do a manual add of photos. So instead of adding them automatically, we would upload the photos and then we would actually click manual. So we'll skip the step of uploading and we will simply pull in our photos where we would like them. So by clicking a photo, it will place, or I can drag and drop a photo into the placement that I would like it. I can scroll through all the photos I have and I can place them exactly where I would like it to go. When I place a photo, you'll notice the number next to it. It will say 1 if it's been used in the album once, and 2 on it if it's been used twice, and so on. So I can know if I've used a photo more than once. Now let's look at this element. You can see that I can select it, and when I do, there's the transform tool. With the anchor, I can move it around anywhere I'd like on the page. If I place it down, it'll stay there, or I can maneuver it where I'd like. I'm going ahead and placing it where I'd like there. And now I'll click the text tool. If I add a text box, I can type in what I'd like it to say within that box, and then I can use that same anchor tool to place that text box where I would like it to sit. I can use the text box to change where I'd like the formatting to be, and I can select what font I'd like, if I'd like this to be bold, italic, underlined, change any color, and I can change its alignment. You can maneuver this in many different ways, and once you're happy with it, you'll be able to see it directly on the page, or you can click preview again to see how it would look in print. The best thing about custom with this is you can decide to do the labeling or the typing on the page in custom, or you can go ahead and journal on it once you receive it with your own handwriting later and make this a fun card. I'm opting to show you how to do this with the text now, and this is what I've opted to like here in this design. Next, we'll move around to see how we can add elements to make this stand out even further, but you can also add physical elements to your page later when you receive this as well. So let's go ahead and move forward to the next step. By going ahead and selecting elements on the left-hand bar, I can select any of this free artwork and different selections of free different designs from Creative Memories. By pulling and dragging this into my artwork, I can change its size, I can rotate it, and I can place it where I'd like on my page. I can also go ahead and duplicate this if I wanted by copying and pasting, or I can change its layering with this tool here. I've placed it behind my text here, and I can go ahead and add these into layers. I'll add another piece here by simply dragging and dropping and arranging how I want my text to layer in with this. It's a fun way to make your custom design even more special and unique to you, especially because this is showing your unique year. You want this to feel really unique and fun for you. So let's see what else we could add into this. By adding another star, we can see how those could layer really nicely together. And I'm using this collection that's seeming to work really well with this best of, but you can use any collection that you'd like, or again, you can use physical designs. Now that we've done elements and text, let's get into some photo fun. You can see that I'm dragging and dropping my photos from the photo tool into all of these layouts as is. I'm also going in and you'll see as I click this, I'm using the tools to use the hand tool there to pan and zoom so that I can actually edit the photo to fit exactly as I'd like when I'm in there, making sure that it fits and sits in the frame the way that I want it to. So I adjust it when it's in the photo, and you can also zoom in so it sits and shows the most of the photo that you'd like, just like that. Now as we flip the page, you'll see that there's so many great layouts already being used, but let's say we wanted to do something different. If we click layout on the left-hand side, we can say 1 page or 2, and then how many photos we want to be in this layout. Once you select that, there are so many options here. I could select 4 and it'll change to that layout. I could select this 4 and it changes to that layout, and so on and so on. By doing this, I'll have to go in and edit that photo with pan and zoom to make sure that my full photo is showing Or I could make the photo box however I choose. You can make whatever photo box you want, or you could click background and make that full background or spread by making your photo the full page or the full 2 pages. And remember, you can always undo with that undo button right there in custom. It's an endless option of what is available to you here. So again, I'm using the 1 page here, 4 photos. I'll click these 4 photos and see how fun this is. I'm creating whatever I want to do here. Finding the right layout is a great way to make your album custom, but there are some other fun ways to do this too. We've talked about text, we've talked about elements, and now we've talked about layouts. But let's also make sure that we talk about how to enhance yours. So let's talk about borders. Borders can be added by adding the thickness here in the border tool, and then you can add the color. Look at the color that was already chosen by our text is shown there, or you could use the color picker tool to add from your actual photos. This is great if you're doing it from a sports team or something like that to make sure it matches your school colors. Going ahead and choosing your color, and then you could click Apply to Surface, and it'll show everything on that surface having that border. Or if you clicked Apply to All, it would go across your whole album and show that border. Again, you can always undo, but it's a really fun way to see what that would look like. And now we've looked at all of these different ways to customize our album. We've looked at elements, we've looked at borders, we've looked at the layouts, the text, and photos, but now let's look at backgrounds. If you didn't want to use the backgrounds in the best of album, we could use a solid color of your choosing. If it was a sports team, a school, you could choose the color and simply place it in. This is a fun way to make it a simple, solid color. If you wanted to use our DIY two-tones, you drag and drop the pattern that you like. You can use different patterns on each page. I'm just simply using the stripes on both pages. And then you pick the color for each part of your two-tone pattern. You can do this for covers and you can do this for pages. And so I'll simply show this for the stripes on both pages here. This is another way to customize your page. Now we'll go back and I'll show you how you could do this with any of our artwork as well. Let's say I really wanted to use a certain theme or artwork that I loved from the year. If I loved the Croptoberfest artwork, I can drag and drop it, and that can be my artwork throughout the album. I can use different artwork across it all as well. I can delete elements or I could add them in. And so there's so many fun ways that we've been able to customize our albums throughout all of this, and we can't wait to see how custom you make yours. Additionally, when you go into the elements, if you scroll all the way to the bottom, you'll see our tonal journal words, boxes, and our borders. If you put any of these items into the page, they'll come on gray, and then you can change the color there. So if I wanted this to be a title, part of my design, anything, I can change its color when it's on the page. The same would go for any of these other items. So I'll scroll down to the bottom. I'll use a journal box. I could type in this later, or I could actually just add this for handwriting journaling later. I could go ahead, change its color, change its size, place it where I'd like, and the rule lines are showing me where the center of the page is. I could duplicate it, change its color, and now I have 2 of those boxes that I could layer on top of each other for a nice bordered effect, and that will be fun for journaling as well. So let's look at how this would work for the borders as well. It's the same effect of choosing what I'd like, pulling it to the page, placing it, changing its color, and I'll copy and paste it to stamp it across. And so there are so many ways for this to be such an exciting custom way for your page. We really can't wait to see what you do for your full albums. And remember, you can always click undo to go back to where you originally started from and use a simple best of 8x8 album that will compile your 70 favorite photos of the year. Now that we've looked at how to actually make the custom 8x8 best of album, let's look at how we can add this to an 8x8 book cloth. What you'll need is an 8x8 album, you'll need side loading pages, and you'll need your album printed out at this point. Next, you will open up your 8x8 book cloth album and you will add in your side loading pages. You will simply add these in and you'll see them added in like this. For step 2, you'll want to gather your paper album and simply trim off the stapled edge of it. You'll also want to take off that protective cover page as well. Now you'll have all of your sheets and you'll take out the white pages within the side loading pages and simply add them into your album. This is how you'll have your full album created, and you can now see the difference between the custom paper album and what it would look like in the book cloth album. Thank you so much for joining us for this special edition of Fast and Fun talking about custom, and we can't wait to see what you create.